Shabbat Shalom, everyone.
Shabbat Shalom. Shalom.
Nice to see you here tonight, all of you present in the sanctuary, and a big Shabbat Shalom to all of you watching on YouTube. We are happy to have Rodney Rudd lead our service tonight as he becomes bar mitzvah tomorrow morning at 10 o'clock. I look forward to being here and watch him become a man. I know that he'll do a wonderful job on our bar mitzvah. And mazel tov to his parents, Ralph and Kathy Rudd. And also thank you for the flowers tonight. They're lovely. Much appreciated. As a reminder, on Sunday, the Social Action Committee is focusing on environmental issues this year, and they have a Zoom presentation on the water issues of California and the new proposals that have come out, the new laws that have come out for 22-23, telling us how our water is going to be allocated. It should be very interesting, so be sure to watch on Zoom. You did get a link in your email. Also on Wednesday, also via Zoom, we are having a Sisterhood Meeting, just as a reminder to our sisters. And don't forget to save the date. On May 14th, we will be having a gala 65th anniversary celebration. There will be more information and an invitation in the March Beacon. So without further ado, I say Shabbat Shalom and let Rodney take over.
Thank you very much, Dina. For those of you joining us on YouTube, I invite you to set aside some Kiddish juice or wine, as is your preference, or other favorite beverage. We'll invite you to join us with the Kiddish and the candle lighting in a moment. In the meantime, we have Shabbat greetings from Rita and Bob Rubin, Jeff and Wilma Shear, Leslie Berger, and Donna Bergles-Hess. And I wish to note that Jeff, Leslie, and Donna are members of our temple board. Donna is our treasurer, Leslie Ways and Means, and Jeff is with our education committee this year. That's wonderful. Thank you all for your ongoing and continued support of our Shabbat greetings. We come to the end of the week, and as such, have an opportunity to not only pause and to reflect, but on this particular Shabbat, we have the opportunity to kvel with the Rudd family as Rodney becomes a bar mitzvah this weekend. It is a difficult challenge during pandemics to celebrate becoming a bar mitzvah. We had 2 banot mitzvot, 2 of our women celebrated last year in 2020, and they can tell you at the height of our lockdown just how challenging it was. And so all we can do is respond to the challenges that life throws at us. And Rodney has done an excellent job in preparing for leading us in services this evening and tomorrow as well. And it is to Rodney that we now turn as we continue with our Shabbat service. So Rodney, I invite you to lead us in our Shabbat service this evening.
We continue on page 3. As the Shabbat candles give light to all who behold them.
I'm so sorry. One moment. I've got to get our slides to the right place. Actually, Rodney, you know what? I goofed. My bad. Have a seat. Have a seat.
Can I make one small comment?
That was my bad, as we're trying to juggle our technology and everything.
And I wanted to make one small comment, is that bar mitzvah students and bat mitzvah students always worry about being perfect. It's about being perfectly ready and just taking your time. And I hope this took a little stress off of you, Rodney.
That's right. It was a good start, Rodney. You did a great job. Our service begins on page 9. See, it's been such a while since we've had a Friday evening bar mitzvah ceremony. There are days when we seek things for ourselves and measure failure by what we do not gain. On Shabbat, we seek not to acquire, but to share. There are days when we exploit nature as if it were a horn of plenty that could never be exhausted. On Shabbat, we stand in wonder before the mystery of creation. There are days when we act as if we cared nothing for the rights of others. On Shabbat, we remember that justice is our duty and a better world our goal. And so we embrace Shabbat, a day of rest, a day of wonder, and a day of peace. We continue with melodies to welcome the Shabbat. Lechu, Naranana, come, let us sing and let us rejoice. You can find a version of these words on page 12.
As the Shabbat candles give light to all who behold them, so may we by our lives give light to all who behold us. As their brightness reminds us of the generations of Israel who have kindled light, so may we in our own day be among those who kindle light. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kiddishanu b'mitzvotav v'tzivanu lahadlik ner shel Shabbat. Blessed are you, Adonai, our God, sovereign of the universe, who calls us to holy acts through mitzvot and inspires us to kindle light of Shabbat.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kiddishanu b'mitzvotav v'tzivanu lehadlik ner shel Shabbat.
We continue on page 5.
Great. Wait, hold on. With the Kiddish Blessings, we welcome the sweetness and the joy of Shabbat, and in celebrating with Rodney and his family on this wonderful, wonderful weekend.
Borei peri hagafen. Amen. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kiddishanu b'mitzvotav v'ratzavanu v'shabbat kodsho be'ahava uvratzon hinhilanu zikaron lemakaseh bereshit ki hu yom techila lemikra'ei kodesh zecher litziat mitzrayim Vanu vacharta, vanu kidashta, bikohanim, v'shabbat kodshecha, v'ava uvratzon, inhautanu, Baruch atah Adonai Mikadesh HaShabbat.
L'chaim, Rodney. Take a drink. We're going to skip page 9. Okay. We continue with the words of our Baruch Hu on page 28. I invite us to rise as we are able for our call to worship.
la la, ya la 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 la
We continue on page 30. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher bidvaro ma'ariv aravim bechokma boteya she'arim uvid muna mishane itim umahadlif et hazmanim umaseder et hakokavim b'mishmerotehem barakira kirtzono Borei Yom V'Layla Golel Or Mipnei Hoshe V'Hoshe Mipnei Or Umahavil Yom Umevi Laila Umavil Bein Yom Uvein Laila Adonai Tivazot Shemo El Hai V'Chayam Tamid Yimlo Alenu V'Olam Va'ed Baruch Atah Adonai Ma'ariv Aravim. We continue on page 33. Wisdom and wonder, passion and instruction, story and symbol.
All these things your Torah gives to us.
And the more we devote ourselves into it, the more it grows and gives.
What could be a truer token of your abiding love
Than this holiest of your works and the living language that gives it form. Baruch atah Adonai, Ohev Amo Yisrael.
Shema Yisrael Adonai Eloheinu Adonai Echad. 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 Baruch Shem Kevod Malechuto Le'olam Va'ed. Baruch Shem Kevod Malechuto Le'olam Va'ed. Shema Yisrael Adonai Eloheinu Adonai Echad. Shema Yisrael Adonai Eloheinu Adonai Echad.
Please be seated. Ve'yavta et Adonai Elohecha bechol levaha uvechol nafsheha uvechol meodecha vechayu kadvarim ha'eleh asher anochi mitzvatecha hayom al levadecha Vishinatam levanecha, v'dibarta bam, v'shivtecha bebeitecha, ufleftecha vadera, usholtecha uchumecha. Ushartam leo tal yodecha, v'chayula tutzafot beinenecha, uftaftam al muzuzot beitecha, uvrisharecha, leman tiskeru, v'asiten et kol ismotai, v'ichem kedoshim Elohechem. Ani Adonai Elohechem, Asher Hotzeti Etem Me'eretz Mitzrayim, Lichiyot Lachem Elohim. Ani Adonai Elohechem. We continue on the top of page 39. We read responsively, standing on the parted shores of history, we still believe that what we were taught before we ever stood at Sinai's foot.
That wherever we go, it is eternally Egypt. That there is a better place,
a promised land.
the way to the promise passes through the wilderness.
That there is no way to get here from there except by joining hands, marching together. Thus it is said, Adonai redeemed Jacob from a hand stronger than his own. Praised are you, Adonai, for redeeming Israel. Baruch atah Adonai, Ge'al Yisrael. We continue on the top of page 43. Let there be love and understanding among us. Let peace and friendship be our shelter from life's storms. Adonai, help us to walk with good companions, to live in hope in our hearts and eternity in our thoughts, that we may lie down in peace and rise up waiting to do your will. Baruch atah Adonai, haporesh shukat shalom aleinu ve'ol kol amo Yisrael ve'ol Yerushalayim.
V'shameru b'nei Yisrael et ha-Shabbat la'asot et ha-Shabbat לדורות המריד עולם ושמרו
Our service continues with the words of our tefillah. I invite us to turn to page 46 and following, and I invite us to rise as we are able as we continue with the words of our Amidah.
Open up my lips that my mouth may declare your
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu v'Elohei Avotenu v'Imotenu Elohei Avraham Elohei Yizkar Elohei Yaakov Elohei Sarah Elohei Rivka Elohei Rachel v'Elohei Leah Ha'el Hagadol Hagibor v'Nahora El Elyon Gomel Hasadim Tovim V'Konei Hakol V'Zocher Chasedi Avognachimacho U'Mevi Gula Mipnei Bneihem L'man Shemo Ve'Adonai Magen Avraham V'Ezrat Sarah Atah Gibor Le'olam Adonai Mechayeha Kol Atah Rab L'Choshia Mashiv Harua U'Morid HaGashem Mechokel Chayim Behesed Mechayeh HaKol Be'Rachamim Ramim Somech Noflim V'Rochei Golim Umatir Asurim Umechayei Umato Lishenei Yakar Michamocha Ba'al Gevuro Umidon Lemwa Melech Memit Umechayet Umashmiach Yeshua V'ne'emanata l'chayotako Baruch atah Adonai Mechayei hakol Ta kadosh v'shimcha kadosh U'kadoshim b'chol yom yechalu l'selah Baruch atah Adonai Ha'el HaKadosh. We continue on the top of page 53. Days pass and the yards vanish, and we walk sightless among miracles. God, fill our eyes with seeing and our minds with knowing. Let there be moments when your presence, like lightning, illumines the darkness in which we walk. Help us to see wherever we gaze that the bush burns unconsumed, and we, clay touched by God, will reach out for holiness and exclaim in wonder, how filled with awe is this place, and we did not know it. Blessed is the Eternal One, the Holy God. Baruch atah Adonai Ha'el HaKadosh. Please be seated. Our service continues on the top of page 55. May these hours of rest and renewal open our hearts to joy and our minds to truth. May all who struggle find rest on this day. May all who suffer find solace. May all who hurt find healing on this day. May all who despair find purpose. May all who hunger find fulfillment on this day. And may this day fulfill its promise. Baruch atah Adonai Mikadesh HaShabbat. We continue on the top of page 57. Ratzeh Adonai Eloheinu be'amcha Yisrael utfilatam be'ahava tekabel uthi leratzon tamid avodat Yisrael amicha baruch atah Adonai she'otecha levadcha b'yirah na'avod. You are with us in our prayer, our love, and our doubt, in our longing to feel your presence and do your will. You are the still clear voice within us. Therefore, O God, when doubt troubles us, when anxiety makes us tremble, when pain clouds the mind, we look inward for the answer to our prayers. There we may find you, and there find courage, insight, and endurance, and let our worship bring us closer to one another, that all Israel and all who seek you may find new strength for your service. Baruch atah Adonai she'otecha levadcha b'yirah na'avod. We continue on the top of page 59. Let us read together. God of goodness, we give thanks for the gift of life, wonder beyond words, for the awareness of soul, our light within, for the world around us so filled with beauty, for the richness of the earth, which day by day sustains us, for all these and more, we offer thanks. Baruch atah Adonai, hatov shimcha u'cha na'eh lehodot. We continue on the middle of page 61. Lo yisah
Elbow to elbow, eye to eye. So close perhaps we brush against each other as we move in prayer. Ears filled with the voices of friends, teachers, fellow travelers who pray with us from the next seat, from across the room, and with us on the internet. We come now to silence. Rhythm of words, shared melody, all hushed. Connected first one to all. It's now time for us to let go. To be alone with the Holy One. To speak in mind and heart and soul, but not with lips. The prayers we weave together cannot replace that private conversation. God, our partner, awaits us, one by one, a miracle. And so we pause for silent meditation or such other prayer as the heart may prompt.
my heart be acceptable to you, O God, my rock and my redeemer. You let us soar to imrefi vegio libi lefanecha. Adonai Tzuri Vegoali Tzuri Vegoali.
As always, Cantor, thank you very much for the music you bring. Dr. Ray, thank you for tickling our clavinova in such a way as to give us great music. And Rodney, thank you for leading us in a wonderful worship service. You did an excellent job. We had some interesting, spontaneous opportunities there in the beginning, and it was a great opportunity to sit back and to watch you lead us in our worship service. Hopefully this will get rid of some of the butterflies, and tomorrow will even be just as wonderful as this evening was. To Ralph, to you, congratulations, Mazel Tov, to your wife, Kathy, and to Gerald sitting there doing a good job. Mazel Tov to you and your family this weekend. A great opportunity for us to share together with you. I wish to acknowledge that Laura Milhander, one of our religious school teachers, is here with us this evening to celebrate with Rodney as well. So it's been a rather interesting and bizarre week. I've always respected the comedy of Whoopi Goldberg and found her to be quite a wonderful character addition to Star Trek: The Next Generation, one of my favorite all-time shows. Yes, I am a Trekkie. And then her comment, which on the one hand, on the surface, really didn't strike me as all that out of place. I mean, we Jews have been arguing for centuries that Jews are not a race. We are not a race. You can convert to Judaism. You can't convert your race. And so initially her comment that the Holocaust was not about racism at first seemed to gel with much of the message that we Jews have been trying to portray. But herein lies the danger of this lack of sophisticated or more thorough knowledge about the Holocaust. We seem to be plagued with a surface knowledge attitude, where people want to just sort of get the summary, the Reader's Digest, or the Cliff Notes version of historical events. And the subtleties and the nuances are lost, whether it is through naivete or laziness or lack of curiosity. People seem to be willing to go along with just that surface knowledge, which is why the ADL did the right thing, and why The View did the right thing of suspending Whoopi Goldberg for a couple weeks. Because whereas Jews and Judaism is not a race, the Nazi approach to Jews, to Judaism, and indeed to human beings was exactly a racial approach. The Nazis saw themselves as the superior race, the Aryan race, and all other races were inferior. that included Jewish, French. The Nazis were motivated by the pseudoscience of eugenics. They had doctors and scientists studying human bodies to try to determine racial characteristics based upon someone's faith, which has nothing to do with one's race. It was not a science, eugenics. We as well face that here in the 20s and the 30s. Eugenics tried to teach us that the shape of your forehead, the position of your eyes, the shape of your nose determined your intelligence, your abilities. Your skin color immediately determined whether or not you were fit or not. And so for the Nazis, it was a racial battle. They were out to purify by extinguishing, murdering Jews, the Roma people, formerly called gypsies, those with mental disabilities. They made faith and ability a matter of race. And so although Judaism and Jews are not a race, the Nazis had a particular vehemence and target against the Jews, more so than any others. It's important for us to speak out when we hear these misstatements. And it's important for us not to be lulled into the surface knowledge mentality that, well, on the one hand, she's right, it wasn't about race, but no, it was, because that's what the Nazis were all about. A more sophisticated understanding of the Holocaust brings that to light. And as we continue to deal with those who believe that a particular race is indeed superior to others, as we have seen in Charleston, as we have seen in so many places across this nation in the last several years, it is all the more important that we remind everyone of that horrible attitude and where that attitude will lead, because we know where that will go. We have been there. Whenever one person, whenever one group of people feel that they are superior to others, it ends in death, tragedy, and suffering. Our history is filled with that. Our human history is filled with that. And let us not make the mistake of saying that the Holocaust was a result of man's inhumanity against man, because it wasn't. The Holocaust was about murdering Jews and people who were deemed to be unfit for society. We live in the most sophisticated age ever. We have access to so much information at our fingertips. We also have access to so much misinformation. And the only way that we are going to be able to work against that is to quote Hercule Poirot, one of my favorite detectives: we must use the little gray cells. We must constantly weigh what we are reading with not only what we know, not only what makes sense, but unfortunately in today's age, we also have to verify it ourselves, because there is so much information. I was just thinking that, with so much television and so much channels and so many entertainment resources available to us, when the Olympics came on when I was a kid, everything kind of stopped in my household. We watched the Summer Olympics, we watched the Winter Olympics. Every 4 years when they would come on, this was a gathering of an opportunity to see the best of athletes. I didn't even realize the Winter Games had started until I happened to get an email about the opening ceremonies. And because of all of this inundation to which we now have to endure, all of the channels that send us all of this information, it is all the more important for us to be engaged and to be diligent and vigilant. No, not vigilant. We must be diligent. And so what began as a statement to which even initially I found myself going, well, yeah, that's kind of, oh, well, no, wait a minute here. I'm reminded of the dangers of that slippery slope. Something that might make sense on the surface, but with deeper probing reveals the naivete or the ignorance. I wish that we lived in a time, given all the information we have available to us, when people would be able to apply that information appropriately, people would be able to reason, to think. It turns out, I guess, we're still working with that same human mind we did 10,000 years ago. I'm grateful that Whoopi Goldberg has come out and admitted how much she has learned about the Holocaust from that experience. I am hopeful that her viewers and her followers will likewise take that lesson to heart. And I hope and pray for the time when people will no longer resort to hatred, to simple statements to try to contain complex ideas, so that we as a human society can grow, hopefully to become even more peaceful, but certainly more knowledgeable. May the Shabbat give us our own opportunity to examine ourselves and find ways in which we too have perhaps glossed over things, where we have accepted some of the sound bites for facts, so that we too might grow and become more. Shabbat Shalom, everyone. This is the first Friday in February. Hard to believe it's February. Our first Friday in February. And as such, we want to acknowledge birthdays, anniversaries, and other happy events that are taking place. I know one person who is celebrated a birthday just a couple days ago. If you likewise are celebrating something in the month of February, please join the Cantor and I and Rodney here on our bima so that we might acknowledge those wonderful occasions. Birthdays, anniversaries, mortgage burning, final car payments, graduations. We'll spread down this way some. Step a little more this way. Very good. Excellent. All right, so this is our February crowd here. All right, so the microphone will come to you. Please tell us what you're celebrating, your name, of course, what you're celebrating, and if you are so bold, how many years you are celebrating that event.
My name is Rodney, and my birthday is on February 2nd, which I am celebrating, and I am 13.
My name is Gerald, and My birthday is on February 26th, which I am celebrating.
And how old will you be?
And I will be 11.
All right, a couple more years.
Yeah. My name's Laura Milhander, and my birthday is February 16th, and I will be turning triple high.
All right, double nickel.
Yes, my name's Joe Manriquez. On February 29th, it'll be 50 years since I got out of the Army.
All right.
Already.
And I'm Ray Irwin. I celebrated a birthday February 1st, and I'm older than 13.
That's okay, wonderful, Ray, for all of our birthday celebrants that we have here, for all of our anniversary celebrants as well. I need to pull up, thank you very much. We also want to acknowledge the anniversaries of Mike and Sharon Kravitz, Michael and Susan Renberg, and Brian and Teresa Goldstein. And in addition, the following birthdays, Ray Irwin, as we've heard, Viviana Bergerson, Rodney Rudd, Trudy DeBovie, Mark Volin, Roland Luna, Howard Koenig, Lily Seen, Laura Milhander, Sheila Craven, Harry Gunther, Shari Rosen, Gary Sanders, Mike Gimbel, Tyler Porter, Michael Rudolph, Owen Galvin, Julie Weil, Aaron Sievertson, Trenton Porter, Kai Sneward, Gerald Rudd, and Raina Whitworth are all celebrating birthdays this month. So to all of them, to all of you, we share together the words of our Shehechianu, thanking God for giving us life, sustaining us, and enabling us to join with everyone in these great celebrations.
שהחיינו וקימנו והגיענו לזמן הזה. ברוך אתה אדוני אלוהינו מלך העולם. שהחיינו וקימנו והגיענו לזמן הזה.
Mazel tov to you all, mazel tov. Thank you all very, very much. With that, we move to the conclusion of our worship service with the words of the Elenu, which can be found in your prayer books on page 282. And I invite us to rise as we are able for the words of our adoration.
עלינו לשבח לדור הכל, לתת גדולה ליוצא בראשית, שלא עשנו כגויי הארצות, ולא שמנו כמשפחות האדמה, שלא שם חלקנו כהם, וגורלנו ככל המונם. אנחנו קוראים ומשתחווים ומודים לפני מלך מלכי המלכים הקדוש ברוך הוא. ונאמר והיה אדוני למלך על כל הארץ ביום ההוא יהיה אדוני אחד ושמו
Our thoughts now turn to those who have departed this earth, those who live on in our hearts, in our memories, and in the place we call Olam Haba, the world to come. We call to mind those for whom we are observing the Shiva and Shloshim, Norma Lippi, the mother of Ben Lippi, Joel Jaffe, the uncle of our own Cantor, Ken Jaffe, and Claire Phillips, the mother of Joanne Kotkin. And Joanne, Ken, and Ben, our hearts go out to you in the immediacy of these deaths that have occurred in your family. To their names, we link the names of those whose yahrzeits have occurred during this past week: Pauline Schindler, Francis Wagner, Dr. George Hirsch, Nathan Letzter, Eugene Austin Gorman, Robert Bernard Jacobs, Jeanette B. Herman, Ben Duman, Willie Zwern, Dennis Kritschmar, Samuel Lofchi, Morris Pozornik, Samuel B. Zalma, Louis Sandow, Catherine Zipper, Barbara Ruth Roman, Paula Weinfeld, Sarah Pivo, and Sheila Krotinger. To those names, we link the names of those for whom we are observing the Kaddish period: Edith Chess, Berta Ursus, Ann Phillips, Malcolm Dipperstein, Mark Bornstein, Leah Levine, Vicky Emery, Sheldon Zinberg, Evelyn Levin, Gloria Austin, Dee Dee Ginter, Dorothy Bernard, Molly Shartoff, Erica Cherie Barnes, Kaylee Goldstein, Craig Wilford, Fred Fink, Joyce Ulibari, Ralph Goldstein, and Marvin Asnes. If there's a loved one whom you are remembering, I invite you to share that name at this time. To those that we have named aloud, and to those that we keep named in the quiet places of our hearts and memories, we link as well the names and memories of the men and women of our armed forces who have given their lives for our liberties and our freedoms, those who have given their lives for our safety here at home, members of our police, our firefighters, and other first responders, the members of the Israeli Defense Forces who have given their lives for the hope of peace. We add as well the almost 900,000 Americans who have died from COVID-19 during this pandemic, and sadly, just this past week, the 765 Americans who died from gun violence. Zichronam Livracha, may their memories be for a blessing and inspire us to build a better world in our tomorrow. As we share together the words of our Kaddish found on page 292 in your prayer books, page 292. Yitkadal v'yitkadash shemei Rabba, B'alma divra chirute v'amlich malchute, B'chayechon v'yomechon uv'chaye dechol Beit Yisrael, Ba'agala uv'izman kariv v'imru. Amen. Yehei shemei Rabba mevarach le'olam u'lalmei almaya, Yitbarach v'yishtabach, v'yitpa'ar v'yitromam v'yitnaseh, v'yitadar v'yitaleh v'yitalal, shemei d'kudesha b'richu, le'elam min kol birachata v'shirata, tushbachata v'nechamata, da'amiran be'alma v'imru. Amen. Yehei shlama rabba min shmaya, v'chayim alenu ve'al kol Yisrael v'imru. Amen. Oseh shalom b'mromav, hu ya'aseh shalom, alenu ve'al kol Yisrael v'imru. Amen.
Oseh shalom b'mromav, hu ya'aseh shalom, alenu ve'al kol Yisrael ve'imeru.
May all of us who mourn and all of us who are bereaved, may we find through God's eternal presence a source of strength, courage, hope, above all a source of shalom, of peace. And let us say, Amen. We conclude our service with the singing of Ain Kelohinu. If you are comfortable with putting your arm around the shoulder of someone next to you or holding their hand, please feel free to do so as we form a link of community to take us into the week ahead. Ain Kelohinu.
And this is the melody that we heard from last week. Wanted to give everybody a chance to get a good bite on this wonderful tune that I hope to have us sing every once in a while. Ein Keloheinu, ein Kadonenu, ein Kimalkeinu, ein Kemoshienu, ein Keloheinu, ein Kadonenu, ein Kimalkeinu, ein Kemoshienu, mi Eloheinu, mi Kadonenu, mi Kimalkeinu, mi Kemoshienu, ein Keloheinu, ein Kadonenu, ein Kimalkeinu, ein Kemoshienu, ein Keloheinu, ein Kadonenu, ein Kimalkeinu, ein Kemoshienu. Nodel Eloheinu, nodel Adonenu, nodel Makenu, nodel Moshienu, ein Keloheinu, ein Kadonenu, ein Kimalkeinu, ein Kemoshienu, ein Keloheinu, ein Kadonenu, ein Kimalkeinu, ein Kemoshienu. Baruch Eloheinu, Baruch Adonenu, Baruch Malkeinu, Baruch Moshienu, ein Keloheinu, ein Kadonenu, ein Kimalkeinu, ein Kemoshienu, ein Keloheinu, ein Kadonenu, ein Kimalkeinu, ein Kemoshienu. Atahu Eloheinu, Atahu Adonenu, Atahu Malkeinu, Atahu Moshienu. Ein Keloheinu, ein Kadonenu, ein Kimalkeinu, ein Kemoshienu, ein Keloheinu, ein Kadonenu, ein Kimalkeinu, ein Kemoshienu.
And with that, we wish everyone a Shabbat Shalom. Mazel Tov again to Rodney and the Rudd family. Shabbat Shalom, everyone.
Shalom.
Good job.